And it gets brought up again at this like white party dinner, but now with more people putting in like their 2 cents, which I don't think was ideal because it's not everybody's like business what is going on, because now you're trying to be a good friend, but you're getting the 2 cents from like the peanut gallery, which she's not friends with. So, but now she has to listen to their opinion about her relationship. I don't know. I wish that Michaels and TJ and even Brad would have like all pulled her aside and talked to her about it instead of doing it all at that white party dinner. Does that make sense? What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Bravo by Gays. It's me, Larry. I haven't talked to you guys in a couple weeks, and I apologize about that. I don't know what is going on in the world right now, but I just haven't been feeling well, but I'm back. I'm good. Last week was a little rough, but I'm over it. So there's a lot that I want to talk to you guys about. There's a lot that happened over the last 2 weeks. I'm going to talk to you guys about the Real Housewives of New York finale. I want to talk to you guys about the reunion. I mean, I want to talk to you guys about what's going on in Southern hospitality. We got the Real Housewives of Atlanta trailer. So much going on, but I want to kick it off with the Real Housewives of New York. All right, guys. So I know so many people have been so against like the reboot of RHONY. So many people asking for the OGs to come back or just like reboot this whole new cast like all together. Like, and believe me, I get it. I really, really enjoy. I mean, I'm not gonna say I really, really enjoyed. I enjoyed the first season of the reboot, and then the second season, it just didn't feel like it was something that I needed to keep up with every week. So it wasn't something that I was like getting ready to sit down to like must see TV for me. So there would be like a week or two, like I wouldn't watch it, but then like I would catch up. It just wasn't catching my attention. And I don't know why, because I do like some of the women. Like I love Raquel. I think she's a great addition. I think she would be someone, if they do revamp the cast, that should absolutely stay. I love Mel, Raquel's fiance. I love, guys, Sai. I really enjoy Sai. I really do. Jessel, I like. Brynn was my like fan favorite last season, but this season she just like did not do it for me. And there's just like, I feel like the whole season was kind of structured around her and like how she's just always like embellishing and like lying and like really just doing the most. But I see what people are saying. So I will say the season as a whole, it didn't really like pull me in, but the season finale and the reunion so far have been the best like 2 parts of TV that like I have seen out of this whole entire season. Like the finale was insane and the reunion was just as good. Now, what I think some of you guys need to kind of like just get over is the fact that they've said that this is the new direction that RHONY is going in and that they aren't bringing back any of the OGs. So I see your comments. I see your DMs. You want the craziness that is Sonia Morgan, Luann, Ramona. You guys want all of that, but I can tell you that you're not going to get that. So relax with all of that stuff. I mean, I get what people think. Like, if you speak it into existence, maybe they'll make it happen. I just don't even see that as being the case because I don't even think half of the women even live in New York anymore. Obviously, we know Sonia lives in Florida. Ramona's traveling all over the place. Luann, I don't even know where she lives. Like, it's just, Dorinda, isn't she living in the Berkshires full time now? It just doesn't seem like something that would even like make sense at this point in time. But then again, you also don't want to cancel RHONY just based off of the last 2 seasons of the reboot, because RHONY is such like a fan favorite show. But here's my theory, and here's what I think is going to happen. I think they are definitely going to be kind of kicking some ladies to the curb and bringing some new ladies in. Obviously, it's been big on social media that the casting agency that cast for Real Housewives of New York put out on Instagram that they are now casting for season 16. So they're looking, they're like, their eyes are open. I think they're going to keep 3 or 4 and get rid of 2 or 3. Ideally, what I would like them to do is I would like them to keep Jessel, Aaron, Sai, Raquel. I don't know if Brynn is going to come back. There's a lot of chitter chatter around Brynn and what is going on with her. I mean, I've been seeing rumors flying all over the place like the last couple of days, but that's nothing I'm going to get into because nothing has been, it's not like substantial or like it hasn't been proven. But I just think they are going to get rid of Brynn, or Brynn will choose to leave because of the way that the season ended and potentially how she's going to like maybe come across on the reunion. Now, before we get into talking about the finale and the reunion, one thing I think is I don't think that we're going to see Ubah again either. And here's why. If you watched the reunion, Ubah stated that she gave up her apartment in New York and she's now living in Connecticut with her boyfriend. So she doesn't even live in New York anymore. So it doesn't really make sense unless she rents an apartment out for filming. Now, is that possible? Of course it's possible. Meredith Marks doesn't live in Salt Lake City. She gets a winter rental and lives in Salt Lake City half the year. So is it easy for Ubah to do that? I'm sure it is. But does she want to after this past season? I don't know. Who's to say? But it is something that I can see her doing if she's asked back and if she actually wants to do the show. I mean, she's not going to, this isn't the Real Housewives of Connecticut. She's not going to commute into New York and then go back to Connecticut. That just doesn't make sense. Now, when it comes to casting, I know we've talked about it before as well. A lot of people are asking for Lindsay Hubbard and Paige DeSorbo. The casting agency said also, like, stop sending me, like, current Bravo Lebs. Like, they aren't casting like those type of people. So who's to say what's going to happen with the cast overall? But in regards to the RHONY finale, I am just so happy the season is over because I felt like they were in Puerto Rico for more than half the season. Now, don't get me wrong. Love a cast trip. But that was like very extensive. Like I felt like they were there too long. Now, the drama that went on in the finale was absolutely insane, and it's not what I expected whatsoever. So obviously, you've watched the finale by now. If you haven't watched the finale because you aren't keeping up with the Real Housewives of New York, essentially what happened was Brynn, and this is a trigger warning, so it's gonna do with sexual assault. So stop listening at this point. And skip ahead maybe 5 minutes and then pick up with us in a bit. But essentially what happened was Brynn had said that she was very shocked that Ubah made the accusation that Brynn would have slept with someone for her position on the show to get a job. And the reason that Brynn is shocked by this is because she said that Ubah was aware that Brynn had been assaulted, and then she was going through the motions of dealing with that situation. Now, a bunch of the ladies had stated that they did not think that if that was the case, that Ubah would come out and say anything like that. So there is a point in the finale when cameras go down. It seems to be like the last night that they are there. Cameras go down, but you can still see footage from what looked to be like surveillance footage, kind of like Summer House style, like camera angling. And Jessel goes into the room to talk to Ubah and tell her exactly what happened, and Ubah lost it. Now, rightfully so. She ran down the hall to Brynn's room and was like, "Are you telling people that I knew that you were assaulted? And you're saying this on camera?" And Brynn essentially stated, like, "I talked to you on the phone when I was going through stuff, and I was just venting about so much, and I had stated that this happened." And Ubah swore that Brynn did not tell her. Now, as the night goes on, it comes out that Brynn said it is possible that Ubah didn't catch it. So it's almost like you're throwing this, like you're having this huge issue, like you're getting so upset about something that you're saying someone else knew about, but then maybe however long later you're saying that it's possible that she didn't know that this happened. So it led people to go more towards being on Ubah's side. And same. Like I was like, what the hell did I just watch? Like that was the craziest part of it. I think that's the craziest like accusation like a Real Housewives finale I think I've seen ever, if not in a long time, if not ever. Like it was just absolutely wild. Then only for the next morning to come and Brynn is sitting around with producers talking about how like she's fine, like she can come from this like super easily and be able to go about like the day with whatever they're doing. Like it just almost seemed like a flip switched and she was a completely different person. It was wild to watch, guys. Like it was absolutely insane. So after all of the ladies speak with Brynn, they come to the conclusion that Ubah had no clue that Brynn was assaulted or knew anything about what Brynn was going through when she made the comment about sleeping with someone or doing something to get her position on the show. Wild, right? Like this is absolutely insane, right? So obviously if you watched, we saw that Jessel and Ubah had left for the night and went to a hotel. Brynn stayed in the house. The confessionals of the women kind of explaining the way that the night went down was cinematic. It was, Raquel like reenacting what Ubah said to her. Like Ubah had said something like, "May Allah strike me down," and my like something along those lines. And the way that just Raquel kind of said that and like to kind of like reenact what she said, it was just like it tore at my heartstrings, and I was like, oh my god, like Ubah had no idea what was happening. But it was absolutely insane because the season ended on this trip, right? So like the ladies went back to New York, and I don't believe it was supposed to end in this moment. I think they were supposed to go back to New York and have a little bit more filming, and then they were going to do like the finale. But because of the way that everything went down that last night, they cut production early, and then it was just done. And then we see them, maybe like a week or two later, going to do like the photo shoot for the intro to the show. And it was just like, nobody knew how to act or like what was going on or who had talked to who. Like Brynn came late and she really kind of didn't even act like anything was wrong. It was just wild, like the way that like her behavior, it was absolutely insane, right? But Ubah and Brynn completely like ignored each other, and the way that they kind of like framed the end of the finale, it almost seemed like it was like an exit moment for Brynn, right? Like the montage of like her moments, and then like her with the apple, like doing the intro photo shoot. It was just like very cinematic. And I can't believe we had to wait all season to get this type of moment on the show, because this is the stuff that I think fans of the show have been waiting for. Not this dark moments like specifically, but like the drama like between like the cast, or like that type of like chaos. You know what I mean? Because it really has just been all kind of like superficial surface stuff that's been kind of boring and like not really like engaging the audience. I know so many people that fell off like after the first couple episodes, if they even watched the season at all. But I think there is a way to get a portion of the group of girls back and do something like with the show. I feel like they are getting there, and I don't think that it needs to be canceled at all. I think there is a way for them to figure it out, but they just have to find like the right dynamic or the right group of people, if that makes sense. Does that make sense to you guys? Now, I will say the reunion I thought was amazing television. Now, first of all, I think every single one of the ladies looked amazing. Even Jenna in her bathrobe with like that towel on her head. Like she made that look like, I mean, it was fashion, right? She just made, and I'm sitting here in a hoodie talking about the way that these girls look. Who am I to judge? But I think each one of them looked amazing. I honestly think it might have been one of the best like dress reunions in a very long time. But they wasted no time getting into everything. Now, we saw moments, it almost like seemed like everyone kind of like was taking their turn at getting into their issue with Brynn. I mean, Jenna very much had like Jessel's back in regards to everything. I mean, it was just like Brynn went at Sai. Sai was talking to Brynn. I mean, Rebecca's been a little bit quiet right now, but there was a moment between Aaron and Brynn. Like it was almost like each of the girls taking turns at like what their issue was with Brynn, and the fact that Brynn doesn't take ownership for the fact that she makes shit up or like exaggerates the truth. I mean, they essentially called her a liar. I mean, but it's nice to see that even the women that are friends with Brynn on the show, and maybe they are still friends with her, who's to say like who she talks to, but it's nice to see those women also still kind of hold her feet to the fire and let her know that they think like certain things that she had done throughout the season were wrong and have the back of like somebody else. So, I mean, there's still so much more to go in the reunion. It's going to get intense, guys. It's going to get crazy because they haven't even touched the surface yet with what happened during the finale. And it's only 2 parts. So we only get 1 more week of it. So part 1, I thought was very good. Part 2, I think is going to be even better. And then I wouldn't be surprised if they take a couple months off and then not start filming with them until like this late spring, early summer, like, and just give them like a minute. But I want to know what your thoughts are. So let me know what your thoughts are on the finale episode, on the reunion. Because I get so many people that are like, oh my God, do you get paid to say that you enjoyed the finale? Like, no, I don't get paid to say I enjoyed the finale. I actually did like the finale. I mean, it's just, if I don't like something, I'm not going to post about it. But I enjoyed it, okay? And I commit to it. I watched the entire season, so I know what I'm talking about. But I'm not going to like, I'm going to give it a shot. Like, if I'm going to watch one episode, I'm going to watch them all so that I can talk about it. But I mean, that the sad part is that it took the finale and now the 2-part reunion to even make the season good. So you got what, 15 episodes and then 2 reunions. So that's 17 episodes. So out of 17 episodes, only 3 of them were good or like engaging, getting people to like engage with it. Now, don't get me wrong. There were episodes throughout the season that I liked. Like I loved the moment when when Aaron and Gabe, oh my God, I called him Gabe because they keep calling him Gay Abe on on TV. When Aaron and Abe like did drag, I liked that. I liked the moments when like Raquel and Mel went to like dinner with Abe. I keep wanting to say Gabe, with Abe and Aaron. I liked moments with Jessel and Pavitt. Like, I mean, listen, do I think Jenna Lyons should be a full-time housewife? I like Jenna Lyons, but I would rather like have her be like a friend and give someone else a full-time position that's going to let us more into their life. There is a moment on the reunion where Jenna does like talk about the fact that her fiance doesn't want to be on television or like anything like that. And then Jenna really does acknowledge the fact that like she's worried she would get canceled just because of like, I guess maybe the way that she is. But so then how come all of the other women have to show their husbands, but you can hide your fiance? Like, take a friend of role and then give someone else the position to show us like their full life, and then you can still be on the show. I mean, there were moments like throughout the entire season that like I liked with all of them, but who's to say? I don't know. I mean, if part 2 of the reunion is as explosive as I think it's going to be, I mean, we're definitely going to talk about it. But I mean, as far as I'm concerned, like, I'm not going to spend too much time talking on it unless like there are like hot like topics to even discuss. But all right, so let's move on from RHONY, because that's all I wanted to talk about was the finale and the reunion, which I enjoyed. So keep an eye out if you're going to watch for part 2, and then we'll potentially talk about that maybe next week or the week after. What I want to talk to you guys about next, though, is the hottest show on Bravo right now, which is Southern Hospitality. Now, guys, you know that I love this show. I've talked about it so much since it's been like on season 1, like since season 1 came out. I can't even speak straight. I'm so excited to talk about it. But it has become one of the best shows on television. And I've said it from the beginning, it just progressively keeps getting better, right? So you can't even compare it to Vanderpump Rules, because Vanderpump Rules was a show about a group of friends in LA trying to make it in Hollywood, whether it be acting, modeling, music, whatever, and like them trying to make it while they're working in a restaurant. Now, this group of friends, are they all friends? Yes, they are a friend group. But it's more focused on like their relationship dynamic as a friend group than like their aspiring like career goals, which essentially I guess is what Vanderpump Rules turned into, like a focus on the friend group. But I don't know. I really feel like the only thing that like they have in common is the fact that they work in a restaurant or they work in a bar and that they're friends. I'm talking out of my ass. But anyway, I want to talk about it. So we're on season 3. So much is happening. I mean, we are only a couple episodes in. We have some newbies. I will tell you right now, I think Michaels is a perfect addition to the Southern Hospitality cast. I love what's going on with his relationship with TJ and them navigating like the fact that they did make out once, or like what's going to happen with them. And like, is it going to be a relationship or a friendship? I just like the like gay representation and like dynamic that they have on television. I think it's great. I mean, there are tough conversations that are being had between Joe Bradley and TJ. Obviously, we know that as of right now in the show, JT and TJ are not JT and oh my God, I can't even speak, not JT. Obviously, at this point in the show, we know that Joe Bradley and TJ are not speaking. And the reason that they are not speaking is because on the reunion for season 2, TJ gave Joe Bradley the opportunity to say that he had hooked up with Luann while he was with Danielle, but Joe Bradley took the out and didn't say anything, and the internet went wild. It ended up being true. Whatever. Joe Bradley said some stuff to JT that like, I feel, oh my God, the JT and the TJ guys. JT is on Southern Charm. TJ is on Southern Hospitality. So forgive me for getting them like the same letters mixed up. But Joe Bradley had sent TJ some like not so nice messages, right? But it obviously, as like we're watching the show, there are some like underlying issues that are going on there. Something happened with TJ and Joe Bradley that we are, I'm assuming, going to find out what it was. Who knows what it was, but I think we're going to find out what that underlying issue is, because TJ is like very emotional about his friendship with Joe Bradley. Obviously, you saw there was a moment this season where they flashed back to him telling Joe Bradley that like he was in love with him. So much going on, right? So there's like the gay dynamic going on with Michaels and with JT. Now there's stuff going on with, did I call him JT again? I'm literally like, what is wrong with me? I think it's because I'm talking too fast, guys. There's like the whole gay dynamic that's going on with Michaels and TJ. And then there is drama going on with TJ and Joe Bradley. Now there is more drama going on with Emmy and Will and TJ and Michaels and Bradley, their friend. Guys, they all have the same names. It's driving me insane, right? So let's talk about the Emmy and the Will stuff. So Emmy and Will have been dating for a couple of years. Will is off at law school. Emmy is in Charleston. I believe Will goes to school only like an hour or two away, is what he has said on the show. But as we're watching, people are saying that like Will is running around town telling everyone that he doesn't like his relationship with Emmy. He thinks that like she might have an eating disorder, that he just doesn't see a future with her, like all of this like negative stuff, right? Will's friends try and talk to him because they are hearing that he is running around town saying all of this negative stuff about Emmy, who is a part of their friend group. And Will acknowledges the fact that like he said some crappy stuff and he didn't mean it. And when Emmy's friends try to confront her about all of this and just say like, hey girl, like we're here for you. Like, do you know that your man is saying this stuff about you? She tells them that she's aware of what was being said and that Will was upfront with her about what he said. And she chose to forgive him because she understands the stress that he's under with law school and work and like all of this stuff, right? It almost didn't really seem like that was good enough for her friends. Like that answer from her was good enough for her friends. But it should have been, because like that is like, she is, oh, listen, if she's okay with what he is saying because he was honest with her, then like that is her own like issue to deal with. I mean, I think TJ and Michaels did the right thing about approaching the situation regarding what everyone has heard to Emmy, but her reaction was like mind-blowing. Like, I couldn't believe she got that upset about it. Now, was it the right place to bring it up? I don't think so. Because if you guys watched, they're at Lake House, who Lake, by the way, guys, side note, is another great addition to the Southern Hospitality cast. She's young, hot, fun, rich. Like, I just think she will fit in well with this group. But they're all at Lake House for Lake's birthday. They're at this white party dinner with the entire group, and they bring this to Emmy. Now, this isn't the first time she heard about it. Earlier in the day, Michaels had said something to Emmy, like off to the side, just the two of them. And it gets brought up again at this like white party dinner, but now with more people putting in like their 2 cents. which I don't think was ideal because it's not everybody's like business what is going on, because now you're trying to be a good friend, but you're getting the 2 cents from like the peanut gallery, which she's not friends with. So, but now she has to listen to their opinion about her relationship. I don't know. I wish that Michaels and TJ and even Brad would have like all pulled her aside and talked to her about it instead of doing it all at that white party dinner. Does that make sense? It was wild. It's been a wild season already. And like I said, we're only 5 or 6 episodes in, but I'm interested to see what the hell is going to happen between the group and Emmy and Will. Because, I mean, if it were me and I was in Emmy's shoes, I would probably take a step away from the group to regroup and figure out, like, maybe my relationship first. You know what I mean? Like, it's a lot. I mean, and not for nothing, guys, but like, I don't understand why. No, I digress. I'm not going to say anything. Listen, these are some questions that I'm probably going to save for a guest that we have in a few weeks, and we can just maybe hit all of those at that point in time, because that's just too much. That's just too much going on. What I will say is get my girl Mia Alario out of that beauty pageant and back to Charleston, because listen, right now all I'm getting is her on FaceTime. I need her in the mix with the group. I need her back in Charleston. I need her like doing her thing. I need her back in the action with the group. So it's just, I mean, God bless Leva. This is a wild group of kids. I mean, it's not like she has to wrangle them. She's not like the Lisa Vanderpump of the show. Like, she's, you know how Lisa like inserts herself into like the drama of like her employees who aren't even employees anymore. But it's just like, I mean, girl, these kids are running. And listen, I've been to Charleston. These kids actually work in Republic, but this is crazy. Top-notch television, guys. Like, I'm completely obsessed with Southern Hospitality. I mean, there's so many newbies too. Now, like I said, obviously there's Michaels, there's Lake, who I just briefly talked about. There's Molly. For a couple weeks, I couldn't get Molly from Southern Charm or Molly from Southern Hospitality figured out. I thought they were the same person, but we have Molly on the show, and there's like a friend of it. I think it's her roommate is like Shobin. I apologize if I'm saying that incorrectly, which I don't know how I feel about her, because it almost feels like she's a little bit of a shit starter, or like, just like, I'm looking at her a little bit sideways after the way that she did Emmy with that like dress situation. So, I mean, there's a lot of cast members on that show. Like, that's a lot, but I digress. It's amazing TV, guys. You have to be watching Southern Hospitality. I mean, dramatic, like, give it all of the awards. I've seen so many people that have said like, oh my God, okay, like I wasn't into it, but then I gave it a chance. Like, now it's one of my favorite TV shows. So many people were against it even coming out, because so many people are against new shows for some reason. They're like, oh my God, like, work on what we have. Don't give us anything new. No. It is top-notch television. And I love the people that have come around and said like, oh my God, like I love it now. Or like, I was so against it, but like now it's one of my favorite TV shows. Or, oh my God, I'm telling all my friends about it now. And like, as you should be. Like, welcome aboard the Southern Hospitality train. It's top tier TV. You better believe we're going to be talking about it more as the season goes on, because I can't get enough. I cannot get enough Southern Hospitality. I love it so much. All right, guys. I mean, I want to talk about a couple of like hot topics with you. I mean, nothing like too crazy has been going on over like the past couple of weeks since I last spoke with you because I was sick last week. I mean, obviously, one of the major ones that came out was the fact that James Kennedy from Vanderpump Rules, he didn't receive any charges in his domestic violence case. I mean, that was a big news day, which I'm very surprised about. Now, this is like all alleged because I'm not like a lawyer. I'm not like a pro in this field, but he didn't receive any charges in this domestic violence case, which I don't know how, because the police report was public and what was on there was absolutely insane. But listen, I'm not the court or the jury. He got no charges in regards to this, so who am I to even talk about it? But that was something that came up. And then the same day, just moments after that was released, Allie Luber, James' now ex-girlfriend, had posted that her and James are no longer together. She had made a statement that said, "Thank you all for your support and kindness. I am happy that prosecutors decided not to file against James, as I never desired criminal charges. We had an argument outside of his home related to him drinking again. However, I was not physically hurt. I was shocked by the headlines and disheartened by how the event was portrayed. We are no longer together, but I'll always support James and wish him the best with his sobriety and healing. Thank you for your understanding." I mean, listen, she got out. They're no longer together. Let's move on, right? Okay. James just posted something a couple days ago. And he's like, maybe it was like 2 or 3 days ago. He's like 40 plus days sober. So good for him. Love to see that. I mean, the only other topic really, that headline that came out, was Karen Huger. Her DUI sentencing was supposed to be on January 29th. She got that pushed, and that is now going to be February 26th. She is out of her treatment facility, and she had fired her previous legal team, and they had requested that the DUI sentencing be pushed to give them time to discuss the case with their client. So now February 26th is that new date. You better believe we're going to talk about it as soon as that happens. What I will say that was the biggest news that came out this week was the fact that Gretchen Rossi from Real Housewives of Orange County is returning to the OC. Now, she's only returning as a friend of. Gretchen is returning as a friend of, and I'm okay with that. It's okay. We're going to get a little bit of her on our television, but it was stated as well that all of the ladies from the previous season are returning. They did start filming this week, so they are all like ready to go. Gretchen is in the mix. We have Katie Janela that is returning. We have Shannon, Heather, Gina, Emily, Jen Pedantry, Tamra, and I cannot wait to see how everything plays out with Gretchen and Tamra. Now, if you've been on Instagram within the past 48 hours since the news has been released, then you know that the ladies of the OC have been posting things in support of Gretchen returning. Now, Gretchen hasn't been on in years, so it is going to be very interesting to see what goes on when she returns to the group. We've seen messages of support from Shannon Bedore. We've seen messages from Heather Dubrow. We've seen Jennifer Bedantry post something. We've seen Katie Janela post something. We did see Tamra Judge post something, but it doesn't seem like it was in support of Gretchen's return. Tamra posted on Instagram just a selfie that says, "I guess it's time to dust off those friendship bracelets. My bestie's back," talking about Gretchen Rossi. Now, so many comments on if we're going to have to see Slade, all of this stuff. I can guarantee you that if a camera is following Gretchen, Slade is somewhere near her. So we will see him, but we're not going to see him as much because she's not a full-time housewife. So we're not going to get that inside look at her life. So yes, you'll probably see him, but not as much as like you would see like another husband. Do you know what I mean? So I'm pumped. I am excited. I think Gretchen was amazing TV when she was on RHOC, like when she was first on it. And I think so much time has passed. There's obviously some underlying tensions with her and Tamra. So that is going to be super exciting to watch. And I just can't wait. Now, I met Gretchen at BravoCon in Vegas, and she was nothing but nice. She was the sweetest lady. So I don't have a bad thing to say about her right now. Let's see what happens when the show airs. But as of now, I'm excited and pumped for it, and I hope you guys are too. Let me know what your thoughts are on Gretchen returning to RHOC for season 19. All right, guys, that is what I have for you today. And hopefully some more stuff goes down in the next week, because I'm itching for a little bit of hot goss to talk about with you guys. But listen, in the meantime, I hope that you're rating, reviewing, subscribing, sending your friends links to come and join the party and listen to the podcast. I hope that you guys all have the best week to come, and I will talk to you guys next week. Bye.